Sure. Here's a 500-word story based around the topic. Quiz. How lonely are you? Self-check-in. Written like a personal reflection or a short narrative piece someone might share online. Quiz. How lonely are you? A quiet wake-up call. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon when I stumbled upon the quiz. I was aimlessly scrolling through my phone, switching between social apps like someone flipping through TV channels, hoping something might feel worth watching. I wasn't exactly sad, or maybe I was, and I just didn't know it. The title caught my eye. Quiz, How Lonely Are You? Self-check-in. I chuckled, half sarcastic, half curious. Who takes quizzes like that seriously, right? Still, I clicked. The first question asked if I had someone to talk to when things go wrong. I paused. I typed yes, but hesitated. Did I really talk to anyone lately? I had friends, sure, group chats, occasional calls, but when things actually felt heavy, did I say anything? I changed my answer to sometimes. The questions kept coming. Do you feel like people understand you? Do you spend most of your time alone? Do you pretend to be okay when you're not? It felt like someone was peeling layers off me with every tap, and I was letting them. About halfway through, I realized I hadn't looked away from the screen once. My room was silent. My tea had gone cold. There were unread messages from friends I hadn't answered, and I couldn't remember why. I was connected to so many people, yet I hadn't felt truly seen in weeks. When the results came in, it didn't say, "You are extremely lonely," or anything dramatic like that. It simply said, "You may be feeling more disconnected than you realize. It might help to reach out and reconnect." There was something so gentle yet honest about it. Not judgmental, not alarmist, just a nudge, a little mirror. I sat with the result for a while. Then I did something I hadn't done in ages. I picked up the phone and called my sister. We talked for 40 minutes. Nothing groundbreaking, just life. And yet, it felt like fresh air in a room I didn't know was stuffy. That night, I journaled a bit about how loneliness isn't always crying into your pillow. Sometimes it's just not being sure who would notice if you went offline for a while. Sometimes it's just being surrounded by noise and still feeling like nobody hears you. That quiz didn't fix anything, but it made me pause, made me check in. And sometimes that's all it takes. A few days later, I sent the quiz to a friend. "Hey, this is weirdly accurate," I wrote. "Want to compare results?" She responded with a laughing emoji, then, I actually needed this." I think we all do sometimes. Would you like to turn part of this into an AI voiceover sample? If so, just let me know which 2 sentences you'd like to use and what voice you want from the following options: Alloy, Echo, Fable, Onyx, Nova, or Shimmer. Of course. Here's a continuation of the story, adding another 500 words. Over the next few weeks, something subtle started to shift. I didn't become a social butterfly overnight, nor did my calendar suddenly fill up with brunches and parties. But I found myself being more intentional. I'd send a quick message to a friend I hadn't heard from in a while, not always with an expectation of a deep conversation, just a gentle, "Hey, I was thinking about you." Sometimes it led to a chat. Sometimes it didn't. But that wasn't really the point. It was about showing up for them and for myself. I also began to rethink what connection meant to me. I used to believe it had to be big, meaningful, hours-long talks or heart-to-hearts over coffee. But sometimes it was just sharing a meme that made me laugh or reacting to a story with more than just a double tap. It was engaging, even in small ways, and choosing not to fade quietly into the background. One evening, I joined a virtual book club. It was something I'd seen posted in a local forum for months, but always scrolled past. This time I signed up. During the call, there were awkward silences and too many "you're on mute" moments, but I felt something stir, something like belonging. No one knew each other well, but we were all there with a shared purpose: to talk about stories and, in a way, to not feel so alone. Around that same time, I started being a little more honest with people, not in a dramatic oversharing way, just real. If someone asked how I was, I stopped saying good automatically. I might say, kind of tired lately, but hanging in there. And strangely, more often than not, people would respond with something similar. Same here, they'd say. Or yeah, this week's been rough. It felt like we were all quietly holding in our own versions of loneliness, waiting for someone else to break the silence first. That quiz was never meant to be a diagnosis or a solution. It was more like a flashlight in a dark hallway. It helped me see where I was, and it gave me the option, just the option, to do something about it. There are still days when I feel isolated, days when I slip back into my bubble, when texts go unanswered and I retreat a little. But now I recognize the signs sooner. I know when I'm starting to drift, and I've given myself tools to pull back in. And maybe most importantly, I've learned I'm not alone in feeling lonely. It's one of the most human experiences there is. We all carry it at times, tucked away behind smiles or jokes or busy schedules. So now, every so often, I still take that little quiz. Not because I need to, but because it reminds me to pause, breathe, and check in. Not just with myself, but with the world around me. You never know who else might be waiting for a message that says, "Hey, I was thinking about you." Let me know if you'd like to turn a part of this into audio. I can help you pick a section and voice. Absolutely. Here's an additional 200-word paragraph to continue and wrap up the story. Lately, I've started to view loneliness less as a weakness and more as a signal, like hunger or thirst. It's not something to be ashamed of, but something to listen to. Just like our bodies tell us when they need rest or nourishment, our minds and hearts signal when they crave connection. That perspective has helped me be kinder to myself. Instead of feeling embarrassed when I reach out, I remind myself it's a form of self-care. And honestly, most people appreciate it, more than I ever expected. I've even had a few friends thank me for checking in, saying it came at just the right moment. That small, simple act of making space for someone else makes the world feel a little less cold. And maybe that's the secret no one talks about. When we tend to our own loneliness, we often end up helping others with theirs, too. It's not about fixing anyone. It's about showing up. That quiz may have just been a few questions on a screen, but it started a quiet revolution in how I relate to others and to myself. And for that, I'm oddly grateful. Sometimes it takes something small to open the door to something big. Let me know if you want to pick a part of this story to voice. It would make a great sample.